So I'm joined by Academy graduate who is breaking into the Hibernian Women first team now, Ria McCafferty. Thank you for joining me today, Ria.
Thanks for having me.
So just a few questions about how the Academy's helped your journey towards first team football and just some things about what it's been like playing, obviously, with the Hibernian Girls Academy. So my first question is, you really started to break into the first team last season. What lessons have you carried over from the Academy into first team football?
I think with the Academy, like every team that I was part of coming to the Academy, all the girls were so close and it was always such like a tight team, and everyone kind of backed each other, and I think that was so important to take that into the first team and like make sure that everyone was supporting each other the same way that like coming through the Academy, what it was like coming through the Academy. So that was definitely one of the biggest ones for me.
So you won the SWF Division 1 South League with the under-23s.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, being successful at such a high level within sort of youth football, did you feel that achievement helped you sort of springboard into first team football and senior football?
Yeah, definitely. I think obviously we were the team below the first team, so for us to be achieving such a great reward, it definitely helped to think about what could be done at first team level. So it definitely helped for me. Yeah.
So obviously you worked with Dean Gibson, who's now your head coach at Hibernian Women at under-23 level. Do you think that helped your transition into the first team, knowing that there was a familiar face at the first team that you'd worked with before and you sort of knew him as a coach? Do you feel that helped you sort of settle in a bit when you did get to that point?
Yeah, definitely. When obviously I had Dean at 23s, and even when it would be going up to training just a few nights, maybe Friday night with the first team, Dean would come along just to make me feel more settled, and so he was a big part in making me feel comfortable. And you like knew how nervous I would get or whatever, so you'd always like just try and be there just to make me feel more comfortable. So yeah, I definitely appreciate what he's done to help me settle into the first team, especially actually transitioning into that. So yeah, he was a big part of that for me.
And did you feel any pressure making the step up into the first team, or did you feel the Academy prepared you well for that sort of step? Obviously, at the Academy, we always get players prepared for that sort of making the transition. But did you feel the Academy helped you as a player, as an individual, make that transition as a sort of first team player?
Yeah, definitely. I think going through the academy, you learn new things at each level that you're at, and especially the under-23s, like we were competing with for top of the league, like that was a high level for me, and I think it helped completely. But also at the same time, it's still pressure going into the first team. You still want to impress and show what you can do. Like you're still not learning, but you're still improving. Do you know what I mean? There's always things you can improve on. So moving up to the first team, it wasn't like I felt completely ready or confident with my ability to go there, but I definitely wasn't shying away with what I'd learned from the academy. So yeah.
And you were in the academy from a very young age. What was it like playing at all the different levels, and what skills did you pick up along the way at like across the different age groups?
Every level was very different. Obviously, I came in when I was 9, so that I think I was at under 13. So you're still so young, like you're still like you're with your friends, you're playing football. Do you know what I mean? And at that age, it's kind of fun. You're just like a kickabout in a way. And then as it progresses, you realise that it's more competitive. You get into the more you have like the more competitive side of you comes out, the more you go up. So I think if anything, I definitely got more of a taste of what it's like to be winning things and coming away with medals and that kind of stuff going up like under 15s, and then I think we were Scottish Cup winners at under 15s level, so like that was massive. So I mean, like there's no bigger cup than the Scottish Cup for our league, so to be winning that at that age group it was nuts, and it definitely shows you what you can be achieving going up in the academy.
And what was your favourite age group to play at within the academy, or did you enjoy playing at all of the age groups?
I mean, I definitely loved them all. Like, I made different friends at each age group, some that don't play anymore, and so I definitely enjoyed them all. But I think winning the league with under 23s was probably one of my favourite seasons, definitely.
And how do you feel like you were shaped as an individual within the academy? Did you feel it sort of changed you as a player, or did you just like go and do your own thing? What were your sort of views on that?
I think when maybe coming from the younger age groups, it was more so just trying to develop and learn, and then it wasn't maybe till I would say more 23s, that's when I started to become more of a player with and know how I wanted to play. And obviously Dean put it to the 23s from the start, like how he wanted us to play and stuff, so that gets drilled into you, and I think I thoroughly enjoyed that style of play, and it definitely that taught me a lot on how I want to grow and definitely go into the first team, like given what I can do now. I think more so, how would you put it? God, I've actually just lost that word I was going to say.
So I'll move on to my next question for you. Then
Yeah.
that happens to the best of us. Obviously, you've worked with Dean, but you've worked with other coaches across the levels as well. What was it like working with other coaches, and how do you feel they supported you as a player throughout the academy and all the different coaches you worked with?
Yeah, all the coaches I've worked with in my time at Hibs, they've all been amazing and so supportive, and they've definitely helped me. Even just like little comments like, well, you could try this. Like every coach I've had has been so good at doing that, and just giving me little tips there, like here and there, and yeah, they've been great. I couldn't fault any of them, to be honest.
And obviously, what's it like having other academy graduates like Ailey Adams alongside you at the first team? That must be like really good for you to know that you've got players beside you at the first team that have been on the same journey as you and have picked up the same skills as you and everything like that. That must be excellent to know that you've got that sort of group of players that have been through the academy like you that are playing in the same team now.
Yeah, definitely. I think having Ailey at training, it's just good to know that there's somebody that came through the same pathway as me. Even like Siobhan, I feel like I didn't actually realise that Siobhan came through the academy as well. But like I was talking to her the last game of the season, and she was telling me that it was like 16 years that she'd been there. So like it's good to have an Ailey at training, and it's good to have Siobhan to like look up to in a way that like she's came through the same bit, so it's great for developing, definitely.
Now, obviously, there's so many players across the academy. What advice would you give to academy players across all levels? And then what advice would you give to academy players that are sort of getting to the older age groups and will be looking to break into first team football?
Mm-hmm. I think maybe for the younger groups, I would enjoy it, like enjoy spending the time with your friends and playing football, and yeah, definitely just enjoy it. That's why you can do it. Obviously, even at the older levels, it's still you have to enjoy it. Do you know what I mean? Play because we enjoy it. But just working hard, like even at training, just giving it your all, like training as you would play, and I think it would take care of itself if you're putting in the work.
And then, like for the older players that are like at that stage, that sort of stage that you're at, or you were at with the under 23s, you know, starting to break in to that sort of first team. Obviously, you've seen Rosie Livingston; she's sort of coming at a young age. What would you say to those players that are beginning to sort of catch the coach's eyes and are beginning to transition into the first team like you? What advice would you give to them about transitioning into first team football and that sort of step up? Because it can be a big step. It is quite a, you know, big dramatic change in level because you're coming up against sort of more experienced players and like that. What sort of advice would you give to them?
I would say I wouldn't change like the way they play. I wouldn't try and change their style. Yeah, maybe like for me, I think I maybe was overthinking it a lot, and it kind of put you off your game. So I would say definitely enjoy it. Don't overthink it. I wouldn't change your style of play, and it's going to be difficult. Well, no, it's going to be different. It definitely is quite a big step, but I would enjoy it and just work hard. Yeah.
And if you could sum up your time at the Hibs Girls Academy in one word, how would you sum it up?
One word would be a roller coaster.
I like that. Finally, my last question is, how would you describe yourself as a player?
Myself as a player, I think I'm still learning. Like, I'm not really sure. Do you know what I mean? I'm still trying to kind of find my way with the first team and how I can fit in to help the team on game days and stuff like that. So I'm still kind of trying to find my feet a wee bit, but I think I would say I'm determined, like strong. So yeah, maybe messy. We might say that. No, I was joking. Don't put that.
We'll not put that in. So thank you for speaking to me today, Ria. It's been excellent speaking to you and getting a bit of your experience at the academy. So thank you for joining me.
No, thank you for having me.